John Ehrlichman, you've got to tell us, South by Southwest is where Twitter first caught on, right?
It is, yeah, and now they've got a huge executive team here that are trying to push the marketing story behind this company. If Twitter goes public over the next year, it's certainly going to be one of the defining stories out of Silicon Valley. This is a company that we've reported is hoping to generate about $1 billion in sales in 2014. Part of that story was told recently when they opened up their platform to outside advertising partners. And the other part of that story is just cozying up to brands. We spoke to Joel Lundenfeld, who oversees their brand strategy. He's here at Austin at South by Southwest talking to different players. Here's what he had to say.
Twitter is really like the social soundtrack for TV. It's that other comment that's happening that's really enhancing the experience. So for marketers, it's really important to know that 65% of people on Twitter are actually doing it on their phone in front of a TV. 33% are tweeting about what they're actually watching. So those are moments that we never had before as marketers, those real-time moments that they can jump on, they can add value to, they can add a point of view, and that window has never existed before, that close from action to reaction.
Do advertisers say, hey, Joel, what is my return on investment here at this stage? I mean, in the early advertising cycle for Facebook, it felt like everybody had to at least give it a shot. And some of the early returns were, I don't really know what happened here. Twitter's really been ramping up in that world. Did they learn from their Facebook experience? Are they asking those kind of questions too?
Yeah, they definitely are asking those questions, and we're doing, I think, a really good job of answering it on a few different levels. The first is just about media. So when you think about running a commercial, let's say in the Super Bowl, where it's $3.8 million, and then you look at that Oreo moment where Oreo jumped on the blackout and basically wrote, "You can dunk in the dark," and it was a massive breakout on Twitter. Well, the earned impressions, meaning the amount of people who shared that and sent that out, actually exceeded the impressions that they got from a TV spot alone. So we're seeing, in terms of just media math, earned impressions really counting. The second is actually looking at lifts in awareness and purchase intent and all the marketing metrics that we're used to. We just released a study that shows, on average, when you run a promoted tweet, which is taking a regular tweet and then promoting it to more people that would be interested, we see purchase intent lifts, upwards of 40%. We see awareness lifts upwards of 50%. So there's actual metrics and ROI that are driving these decisions now. And the data that's not just understanding what people are saying and how to react, but really what is that money getting for them.
You heard him talking about Twitter being the social soundtrack for TV. If you're wondering about the kind of advertisers that are moving towards Twitter, it's the same kinds that are using TV and TV itself. And I think that's why you see hashtags all over the tube these days. Steph?
Well, thank you so much, our senior West Coast correspondent, John Ehrlichman, down in Austin. I can imagine the Twitter traffic down there. I mean, is this the highest concentration of tweets at any time of the year?
That's a good question. Actually, it's funny, and sometimes people try to use those these social services to gauge how popular this conference was. Last year, Foursquare was incredibly busy. This year, it hasn't felt as if people are using as much Foursquare. Is that a sign for where Foursquare's business is going? But that's the point. Yeah, people are looking as the early adopters to use all these services, and that's definitely what gave Twitter a lift 4 or 5 years ago.